Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pixel Imperfect podcast. In today's episode, I'm here with Bart again,
Hello.
and this time we could hear each other.
Yeah.
The mistake that we made last time. So I think for this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about struggles as an artist. And sort of how we have ourselves, me and Bart, overcome some of these struggles, or even if we are still overcoming them. Why, have you not overcome any of your struggles as an artist?
No, I'm struggling, man. I am holding on for dear life. I'm just kidding. Basically, we're going to be complaining. We're going to be whining.
You're going to be whining. I'm going to be providing solutions. You give me a problem, I'll solve it.
Are you?
Yeah, that can be our duo. You present me a problem, I'll solve it.
Sure. Totally. Well, I mean, I would start, but you proposed this.
Yeah,
topic.
I did propose this topic.
What struggle was there? What struggle did you want to cover? Was there anything in particular?
Well, given the art piece that I was doing today, I think one struggle that I want to discuss is trying to choose a style. Because when I was designing the current art piece that I was doing today, I had to come up with what style I wanted to do it in, because I was using it as concept art for my series that I'm making. And I think one of the biggest struggles when starting off a piece is choosing the style that you want the piece to be in. So deciding whether you want to make it one bit, deciding whether you want to make it a smaller canvas size or a bigger canvas size, or no outline, having outline. There's so many options, it can often come up as a bit of a problem trying to decide which one is best for a certain piece.
Right, yeah.
So what would you say? What would you say is your solution to finding a style? Am I asking the wrong person here?
Yeah, I don't have a style. I just put some pixels on a canvas and send that off. No, I don't. That's tough. Like that is a tough, like, deciding on style because often. I don't know. Often I just subconsciously, when I'm starting to do a piece, I lock a style I kind of want to go for in my head, and just roll with that. And then just I don't know what to say there. I don't know how the decision making in my brain goes. Like, oh, this day I'm gonna do it like this. I mean, there's no harm in trying multiple options out. Just don't make 5 full pieces trying out 5 different styles, but sketch out some different options. What if I try outlines instead, and then just see what feels better. It is a tough thing. Of course it is. It's art. It's not going to be
no
easy.
set rules.
There's no set rules, but I feel like probably one of the best things to do is just trying some styles out. If you're not sure which to settle.
Yeah.
What's your take?
What is my take? I suppose trying styles is important so that you've got the decisions, so that you've got the options for making the decision. Wow, it is raining quite heavily outside. I hope my internet connection doesn't cut out. So I think the biggest factor for me in solving this, at least for the art piece that I was making today, has been I guess thematically it helps decide,
Yeah.
Like what sort of theme do you want your art piece to have? I wanted mine to be very dramatic and very focused on one giant light source in the room, but having the camera angle sort of so that it faces the light source, and so you've got all of the backlight, lots and lots of backlight. And so solving that problem for this one specific piece, you would have a... I sort of had a brainstorming session where I was like, okay, I haven't done this specific style in a while. It would be cool to do that.
Right.
And if... That's... just because I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, right. I have that sometimes as well, where I just... It's like, oh, yeah, I want to do this style again or something.
Mm-hmm. And
I've had that a couple of times.
My biggest factor is that how well would one bit work with such a harsh lighting scheme, where I could do a full color one, and the lighting might actually end up being a little bit trickier doing it full color, if you know what I mean. Because with one bit, it's on or off. You've got full light or no light. You can dither, and you can have all sorts of effects to make it seem like half light.
The lighting stays pretty harsh.
But you are like dead focused on lighting, which parts are light, which part is dark. You do not have to worry about color at all, which I think would distract from the sort of meaning of the piece. So when deciding on an art style for this piece, it was easier to just come up with the idea that, hold on, this works quite well, I'll just do this.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, it also very much depends on the piece. That makes sense. Like, where do you want
context can be important.
What a surprise.
Man, we are Mr. Interesting podcast here.
My brain is like scrambled eggs right now, man. I don't know. I have exams coming up. So, like, I haven't done nearly enough for that today, and I'm here just like trying to like get my brain to come up with things. Not even run at like full capacity or something. Just walk would be enough at this point, and I'm struggling.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I get days like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, what we could do is sort of have an intersection in the middle of this podcast where I'm gonna cut this bit out, but if you want,
we're gonna plow through.
We're gonna plow through. All right,
we're gonna plow through. Even leave this in. Go to heck editing.
Yeah,
we're just plowing through. We're not gonna take no breaks for no scrambled brains. God. No. Struggle as an artist. I mean, I guess. Okay, you got your choosing styles. Yeah, again, that's really not a thing I can comment a lot on, because I don't worry too much about style, and sometimes I just have in my mind, it's like, oh, I want to try out this specific style, and then I try out that specific style. And beyond that, I'm not too worried about it. I'm never really struggle with choosing a style. I sometimes struggle with getting the style I'm trying to get to. But that's a different issue.
Yeah, okay. Well, then how do you solve that problem?
One would call a skill issue.
I have heard the term skill issue too much recently. I can't. I've started adopting it into my vocabulary. It's becoming a serious problem. It's becoming a real skill issue.
Yeah, but context helps a lot. You think when I'm looking at pieces, it's just like context kind of naturally made me determine a style. Like, there was one that was for dark, and I was like, oh, I want this or piece with a little candle, and that's it. And that's like, oh yeah, that's it. God, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, yeah, see, again, not my thing. It just kind of, I just like, yeah, this style, this is what I'm gonna do. I wouldn't be able to tell you how to do that better, except for, it's like, at best, just try some styles out. But that's advice. That's like, okay, it's technically advice.
But we can come up with better advice.
No, we're moving on to the next topic.
Fine, we'll come up with better advice another time.
Unless you have something better right now.
I don't.
cool. Okay. Do we just... There's a part of me that's like, do we just get to the big topic of just perseverance? Try, like, getting yourself to keep going? Because I can talk about that.
I mean, if you want, if it's something that you're wanting to talk about, go for it.
Oh boy, I can talk about that. Because, I mean, my whole career has been just trying to not run out of steam. My whole art career. Because that's kind of what you get. Like, that's the problem with doing it daily. And that's why it's like, that's the thing with doing art or doing anything daily or a consistent, like, on consistent intervals without, like, with trying to not miss any. I simultaneously recommend doing something like that and not recommend something like that because it's stupid and you shouldn't do it. Because my goodness, the amount of times I've just been like, oh God, I don't feel like it. And then still just drag open a Sprite and make something. And you know what? A surprising amount of times those pieces that were just like, just gotta make something, turned out, I mean, I didn't always like them as much, but they sometimes did tend to do very well.
One thing that I've found with the sort of just force yourself to do it is that one of the biggest hurdles as an artist is getting over the blank canvas. And
oh yeah.
And kind of just throwing yourself into something and then just going for it and then stopping but not deleting it, just walking away, like finishing off for a bit, walking away. You can come back. You don't have a blank canvas then. You have something that you can work on, something that you can build upon. So
I do like all my pieces in one sitting.
But if you're planning, like if you're having a really, really bad day and it's like, I can't think of something good to do, start, but then go back.
The good thing to do is not do a piece that day, right? And not considering the daily format. If you're really not feeling like doing art, don't do art. It's not gonna help.
But there are some situations where you want to do art, but you're just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And sort of for that mood, I would suggest go back, come back, and just get something on first, and then come back to it.
Come back to it.
It's helped me so many times where I've been...
Force yourself through the little start.
Yeah, it's been 1 a.m. I've been doing art for some reason because I've been bored in bed and I want something to keep me awake, despite the fact I probably should be asleep and school was later and I've got all that. But I'm doing art anyway and I'm really hating it, but I'm doing it just because I want to do some art because I feel like I've been slacking out on art. And then I'll fall asleep. I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be like, hey, that's not that bad. I can actually see things where I can improve now. I've slept on it.
Yeah, that's also a big thing. Like sometimes if you don't feel like it, but you really feel like you should make something, just make garbage. Just do it. Just make trash. Besmirch your name and reputation, because then you can look back and be like, okay, maybe even then you can be like, conceptually I have something here, or actually this turned out better than I expected, or you can just say, wow, this is a heaping pile of
I mean, I would say rather than make trash, make a start on something. Don't try and finish a piece when you're not feeling like it.
An unfinished piece can also be trash.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Whether you finish it or not, sometimes just make garbage. I've been making garbage for about 650 days in a row, but it's like you know.
Man, I'm gonna open it. Actually, how many hours have I got? 320 hours on Sprite at the moment. So I haven't reached the mythical 1,000 hours until
I'm halfway there.
I'm not even halfway there.
I'm surprised I'm halfway there. I should really be further. It's just a testament that I don't spend enough time on my pieces.
Yeah, I've actually. When did I first purchase this software? I don't know. 320 working hours ago. So
I can give you the exact update based on the piece I made that day. I remember distinctly the first piece I made with Ace Sprite was the shovel from Shovel Knight and the nail from Hollow Knight for a Sword Timber theme of Night. I'm pretty sure it was Night. Yeah.
Fair enough. I think the anyways, the reason that I wanted to bring this up was that I have done so many hours on Ace Sprite, right? Most of those hours are spent tweaking and editing and adjusting things that I have already made but are not quite sitting right. And that's kind of like the majority of what you're doing in your artwork. You lay down the foundations for your art, and then from then on you're editing and changing. Generally, once you've got a decent layout, you don't change it that much unless you scrap the whole thing and start again. But generally, you're not doing that. Most of your time is spent with these smaller edits, right? So...
Well, for me, it's like a 50-50 between most time being spent on smaller edits and being spent on staring at a blank canvas.
I mean, take even this podcast, for example, right? I started off with the image. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you've got the background video. I started off with the floor and the background, which was just one blank color, and the floor had like maybe a couple lines on it, and that was that. I spent very little time on making a detailed background, and every episode I've been adding something to the background. So it started off with a chunk out of the background, like a big sort of line out of the background. I still don't know what that is. I just know it looks cool, so I've stuck with it.
Depth.
Then I changed up the floor. I added a little pixel with headphones on the bottom, made it a little more detailed. Then,
when did you add the Among Us?
What do you mean?
Was that always there?
What Among Us?
The one in my hand.
That was always there.
Okay.
That was there from the beginning.
Right.
It's been there with us this whole time.
Delightful.
Yes, episode 3 I added the microphones, I think. Episode 4 I added the egg. Episode 5 was the plant pot. Episode 6 was the electronic devices. Hold on, I'm missing something. I'm missing something because this is episode 8.
Yeah.
What have I added that I haven't realized that I've added?
Good question.
Huh. Unless I've missed a day. Have I missed a day of adding something?
Did you add something this time?
Yes, I did. There's a crack in the wall behind you.
Oh, well, that's the new added. Okay, so first, wait. Episode 1 is nothing. Episode 2 was the line.
Uh-huh.
Episode 3 was the floor. Episode 4 was egg. Episode 5 was microphones. Episode 6 was plant. Right?
No, the microphones came before the egg, but then episode 6 was plant. And then episode 7
is
was
electronic.
Episode
devices.
8, which is this one. Okay, yeah. Never mind. We've got this right.
Yeah,
I'm just getting confused. Count. Yeah, I'm not smart. I was playing Monopoly yesterday, and this may seem like a tangent, but this does have something
stupid.
This does have something to do with the fact that I can't count. So we were playing Monopoly yesterday, me and my friends, because they're all back from uni, and it's great to see them.
Why do you play Monopoly with them?
What would you expect us to do, huh?
Play a better board game. That's what.
There's no better board game than Monopoly.
Monopoly is the worst board game.
It ruins friendships, and that's what makes it brilliant.
No, it's not. It's just. I was going to say bad capitalism, but it's just capitalism, and that's what makes it bad.
And that's exactly why we played it. We wanted to play Capitalism the game.
No.
So we did.
I genuinely recently made an art piece that is just me mocking Monopoly.
Well, yesterday I played Monopoly with my friends.
Oh, what a shame.
And it was great, and I loved it, and there's nothing you can do about it. It wasn't regular Monopoly. It was Simpsons Monopoly.
No.
Yeah, feeding into capitalism even more, so it's more brands.
No, I have the Disney version of Monopoly. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I was playing the Simpsons version, and the $1 notes, the one buckaroos has a Maggie on it. And so as a meme, what ended up happening was Maggies became the most valuable currency. And one of my friends started hoarding all of the Maggies. You wouldn't get change. You wouldn't get change from him. You had to give him the exact amount, which probably included a few Maggies.
I always did this as well.
You did that?
I wanted all the ones. Give me all the ones.
Yeah.
I've had piles of like almost the entire stack of them. You know, and take my ones from me.
So I did this completely for the meme, but I basically bankrupted both my friends, and on the second friend, him, when he landed on it, he moved his counter one ahead of the space so that he didn't land on my space. I was like, yeah, I see that. Move it back. He's like, no, I'll just leave it there. I was like, fine, you know what? I'll let you have that move if you give me every Maggie. Give me every single one. So I traded the win because I ended up going bankrupt to him. I traded the win for everyone in the game, for all the Maggies. I traded the win for the Maggies. Worth it.
Yeah, worth it.
100% worth it.
Worth it. What does this have to do with you not being able to count?
So basically, I'm really bad at counting, and Monopoly is a game about counting. There you go. Yeah, I don't know, counting the Maggies. I mean, money. How many Maggies were there? There was like 40 Maggies when I was there. So yeah, I counted the Maggies. I counted it. So yeah, I was playing Monopoly yesterday.
You just played Monopoly. Cool.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that in there. I was playing Monopoly yesterday.
My man's played the worst board game yesterday.
It was not the worst. It was brilliant. Anyways, my friends have now unfriended me on every social media. I have no friends anymore because Monopoly ruins friendships.
Yeah, I'm also unfollowing, blocking you on Discord right now as we speak for playing a Monopoly. No! How dare you?
I can't believe it. Monopoly doesn't just ruin friendships actively by people playing it. If you play Monopoly, it passively ruins your friendships too.
Oh, yeah.
What have I done?
As soon as I know someone I know has ever played Monopoly, I just... Disgusting. How dare you?
Hold on, you have Monopoly.
Yes, I've played Monopoly many times. I also hate myself.
How dare you? Yeah.
I mean, like, that would only be hypocritical if I didn't also not hate... Okay, hold on. Let me retry that sentence.
You got this.
It would only be hypocritical if I was... quote unquote friends with myself. I am not.
Okay, there we go.
No problem there.
Well, I am friends with myself. Out. I can't think of a better friend than me.
Every time I play Monopoly, the self-loathing becomes a little bit bigger.
Don't play Monopoly if you've got a low self-esteem. It doesn't do anything for you.
Just cut out that last part. Don't play Monopoly.
I say do
Find
play
a better
Monopoly.
board game. There are so many better board games.
All right.
Oh, so many.
All right, viewers.
Anyway,
all right, listeners.
Struggles as a pixel artist.
If you've made it this
Paying
far,
attention.
If you've made it,
sticking to the theme.
If you've made it this far into the video, I'm gonna ask you a question. Are you team Go Monopoly or No Monopoly?
Cut that out. I don't want to know. Cut it out.
I'm never cutting it out.
Monopoly sucks. Monopoly's the worst.
Monopoly's awesome.
Monopoly is the worst game of chance, and as soon as someone starts winning, they've won. Period.
That is not true. That is not true. The game had so many twists and turns yesterday.
More often than not, it is. Just as soon as someone starts getting the important pieces, it's like, yep,
Yeah, but
I
the
can't
tides can
do
all the
anything.
tides can all change if you're able to in one move.
Oh god, this is peak capitalism, where the poor man gets fooled into thinking, yes, but I also have the chance to become rich. As if the system isn't rigged against them.
I was the poor man once, and I won, and I traded my win for Maggie's.
Yeah,
That's how
you're
much I
like-
was winning.
You're like the one poster boy they get to keep them fooled. It's like, see, this guy did it.
This guy did it. Any of you can.
Monopoly emulates capitalism too well. Oh no.
Fine then, we'll play Monopoly Communism. I'm sure that's actually a version. There's a Monopoly.
No, yeah, there is a
There's
communism.
a
There's a
Monopoly
lot
for
that-
everything.
Oh no, there is a communist. I don't know if it's communist, but it's a much more cooperative version of Monopoly. I don't remember exactly what the rules are, but there is a different version of it, which, quite frankly, sounded like a whole lot more fun.
Bart, wait, we're missing the best version of Monopoly. Mrs. Monopoly, where they solve the inequality problem in our society by using inequality. Women get paid double men. Mrs. Monopoly.
Let's
It's brilliant. No, Bart,
stop.
but you don't understand. You don't understand.
Let's stop.
It's brilliant.
Let's go back.
It's brilliant because both me and you, we're both male, which means we get paid the same. It solves
So
our
we're just
quality.
playing Monopoly then.
We're playing it. Yeah, exactly. We're just playing Monopoly, except we get paid half what we normally would when playing regular Monopoly.
Yeah, but that just puts us on equal ground. It doesn't matter if it's in a void.
But that's the genius of it. They label it differently.
Genius is it makes no difference.
They label it differently. Then they double the price of the game, and then everyone buys it.
No,
It's marketing.
The real good version of Monopoly is Rick and Morty Monopoly. Let's go.
Nah, I've got so many versions. Monopoly Cheat. I've got Monopoly.
Why do you have multiple versions? They're all the same.
No, but some of them play differently.
It's Monopoly. It's
So?
bad anyway.
Some of them play differently. For example, Monopoly Cheat. You're allowed to cheat. You can steal money from the bank. When you're in jail, you've actually got a handcuff. You're handcuffed to the board.
What?
You have Star Trek Monopoly, which, okay, that, to be fair, does play exactly the same as regular Monopoly.
Yeah, because 99%... The fact that 99% is applicable in this situation shows how insanely many versions of Monopoly there
But you've got Monopoly Millionaire. That's a thing.
Are the numbers just bigger?
Yeah, it's just Monopoly, but with bigger numbers. Wait. There's more. We've got Monopoly Kids. It's just it's exactly the same, but with lower numbers. There's so many different kinds of Monopoly.
There's every popular TV show, series, or video game Monopoly.
Well, to be fair, they did exactly the same with Top Trumps.
With what?
Have you never heard of Top Trumps?
I don't care.
I don't
I'm talking
believe
about
it.
Monopoly now.
I don't
This is
believe it. You've never heard of Top Trumps?
Top Trumps?
What?
Top Trump? What is...
Okay, so imagine a card game, right? So
Top Trump?
are you looking this
What
up?
are these?
You're looking this up. Okay, Top Trumps.
It's just cards for random pop culture thing X. Is that it?
I didn't know that fish and endangered animals were pop culture. Lovable dogs.
I mean, lovable dogs are pop culture.
Dinosaurs.
That's pop culture.
Man, there's probably a Top Trumps for Top Trumps. Yeah, it's exactly like Monopoly, where it's exactly the same game. It's just slightly different every single time you get it.
Continuous mental damage.
Tell you what.
It's
Next,
already past the point of irreparable.
we're going to replace next stream with me and you playing either Monopoly or Top Trumps.
No!
It's brilliant.
I refuse. I will not play either of those.
But it's brilliant. You don't understand.
No, it's not! I don't know about Top Trumps, But Monopoly is still garbage.
Okay, Uno then.
fun.
We'll have a game of Uno.
I'll take Uno because at least that's not like Uno knows it's horrible.
Uno knows it's ruining friendships.
Monopoly is just it's horrible. I hate it. I don't want to play Monopoly again.
So, moving on to problems as an artist.
Staying focused. Sticking to the topic that you're making art for. Big problem for the two of us at least.
Getting distracted.
Oh.
We joke, but that actually is a big problem for a lot of artists. It's very easy to get distracted.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't tend to struggle with that a lot. I usually finish the piece in time before I start getting distracted.
I don't. I am very guilty of being distracted when I'm making art. For example, in fact, I'm guilty of being distracted with basically everything. Everything distracts me of whatever I'm doing. For example, midway through this podcast, I opened Sprite and I started working on my 1-bit piece again. So it's changed since the start of this recording.
Great. Oh, that's great. I mean, I do have struggles with paying attention a lot. Learning for my upcoming exam has not been going well. I can tell you that. But weirdly enough, when I'm making art, it's indeed the thing where it's just like starting is a problem. Like that's where I get distracted most. Like I look at the empty canvas, then I look at something else. I look at the empty canvas, then I look at a YouTube video, look at the empty canvas, then I look at Twitter, then I look at the empty canvas. But then once I start placing stuff, like that's the thing with me. I can get so easily distracted if if I start being a little bit invested in something, I'm fully invested and I don't stop until it's done.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know.
Anyways, speaking of getting distracted, if you're watching the YouTube video, you've probably seen by now that I've been doodling in the background.
What? Have you been editing?
I've been editing the background live.
No, what have you been drawing on there? It better not be anything profane.
It's not. Don't worry. It's just hey, and then my name. There you go. I'll put it back. I'll put it back to normal.
Lame.
There you go.
Lame. You didn't even draw an Among Us song there? Oh, it's already one.
You realize what I'm about to do right now.
Do it.
Doing it. I'm doing it. Amogus.
Getting distracted.
Getting distracted is not something that we do. We don't get...
This was the worst day to cover this topic.
This is the best day to cover this topic.
I've been not being able to pay attention to what I was trying to do all day long. And I was just like trying to pay attention to serious thing, struggling with art. There's lots to struggle with art. There's so much to struggle. There's so many struggles that I experience and can talk seriously about. But my brain is bleh.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
But we're gonna. I said what I said. We're gonna pause for it. I'm gonna try. Okay.
Okay.
It's just a quick breather.
Go on, breathe.
Okay.
Breather it. We are losing our minds. For once, it's not me that's losing my mind this episode.
So sweaty. Where's all this sweat coming from? It's not that warm.
I don't know biology.
Oh god, I don't
So,
either. That's why I'm asking. Any biologist care to elaborate why I'm so sweaty?
So, yeah, getting distracted, major problem. For something like a podcast, like we're recording right now, it can be quite fun. But it really depends on your audience, because you have some, because I listen to a few podcasts, you've got some which have a start topic and then just go off on one, and the end, you have no idea how they got there from the beginning unless you've watched the whole way through. You skip ahead 10 seconds and you've missed the entire Five Nights at Freddy's lore. So,
oh god.
yeah, that's a bit of a exaggeration, but... and then you've got some other podcasts which actually have a purpose, which have a focus, and it entirely revolves around that. I find those ones a little bit harder to concentrate on because I am very sporadic in nature. I am a bit of an all over the place person. But what I am hoping to do is I'm gonna get I'm gonna try and get a popular pixel artist on at some point, and then that should hopefully focus me a little bit more. So for our audience that want to learn more.
We were very good boys during the Taike episode.
This is true. So that's proof that it works.
It does work. We need to get someone else on. We've been failing to do that.
Tell you what, this week I'm gonna go onto Twitter and I'm gonna try and message several popular pixel artists and be like, "Hey, want to talk about pixel art with us?"
Don't. We could get someone else. I mean, wait,
we do have another artist, but that's gonna be
trying. That's the first one that reached out to us that we've been trying for. Can we name drop? We could probably name drop.
We can name drop.
No one's listening anyway.
All right.
What is it?
Go on.
Hogsicle, yeah. They were the first to reach out. Absolutely delightful. And then but they're from the USA, right? Or, I don't know, USA. I think USA. But either way, like 6 time zones before us, at least.
Yeah.
Oh no. We've been just not. We've just not. I can't even say we tried, honestly.
I mean, I'm certainly going to be trying more.
Yeah. But I do want to get Hogsicle on because their stuff does seem fun to talk about.
Exactly.
As well as we technically have another one, but that one's more for the future, actual future, not incidental future. Was it No Data?
Yeah.
Wanted to get on as well at some point.
Another name drop. Hi, No Data, if you're watching this.
Hello, No Data.
Hi.
I'm also excited about that because my god, what she makes is also cool. But oh god, but just it's a little hands. How does she do it? Hands. Like she's made like a couple of pieces of like hands and. Wow. How?
Hands are a rather difficult thing to do.
Yeah, and she does them, and it just looks so good, and I'm...
Yes.
I don't know what to say. Again, brain is scrambled. There's so many words that would be adequate compliments for that, but I just can't get any of them out, because I just look at them and just go, oh. I'm pretty.
Yeah, that actually does. That's a really good segue to another problem as an artist, which is looking at other people's stuff and sort of comparing it to your own things, because it's very easy to get lost in that downward spiral of they're so much better than me. Their stuff's so much better. I want to be as good as them. That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing of comparing, even I'll start with other artists. It's like, funnily enough, comparing to other artists, that's a big trap always. I do that. I just ran out mid sentence.
It happens.
I do that as well. I look at other people's art because I enjoy it. I'm like, wow, that's cool. And then it's like, I'd like to say it's like I do it just for inspiration, right? That's what we all would like to say. It's like I do it for inspiration, and for the most part, I succeed in having it just be like, oh, now I want to make something, or now I feel get a bit of energy to actually draw something.
Yeah.
But inevitably, I'm also going to be like, man, they are so good, and I'm not.
I'm very guilty of that.
The whole comparison thing, it struggles, and there's no easy way to do it because that's I don't think you can really easily get over something like that as long as you're looking at other people's.
I disagree. I think there is a way to get out of that downward spiral. Here you go, my first actual solution to a problem.
Oh, there you go.
Here you go. So, if you are in that downward spiral, if you are having that struggle where you're looking at other people's art and you're saying, I want to be that good, and that you don't think that you are that good, or another example, I've often found myself being like, so many really good digital artists, really, really detailed, like almost photorealistic artists, and it's like, I'm a pixel artist, I can never make anything as good as that. It's very easy to fall into a trap of, oh, I've been doing it for 4 years already and I'm not as good as this person. So it's a whole thing you've got to watch out for when you're comparing your art with other people's art. My solution, a surprisingly simple one, is to just stop looking at other people's art so much. I mean, obviously you're going to have to...
No!
Then just
They're good artists. I want to see their pieces.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Because, okay, if you want to see that art, I'm not saying stop looking at their art altogether. But stop comparing your art to their art. And
that's the thing. We want to do that, but it's just subconsciously difficult. Like, it subconsciously keeps happening, right? It's like, as soon as you think, wow, their art is so good, you are going to subconsciously already be comparing it to your own.
Of course.
That just happens.
It does
so
happen.
You can't just say, don't compare.
It does happen subconsciously, but you need to consciously think about it, okay? Because, you're subconsciously thinking, oh man, that art's better than mine, I don't like that. But then you need to consciously realize, okay, this art is better than mine, or this art is different from mine in some way or another, and you need to realize and be a bit more lucid with sort of how you're thinking about this. Okay, so this art is different or better than mine at the moment. Okay, I'm not going to let that bring me into a downward spiral. You need to think, okay,
I can learn yourself from such thoughts. It's the whole thing of distancing yourself from intrusive thoughts. It's like, by actively just being like, I don't like this thought, I am distancing myself from it. There's a term for that. I don't know. I don't
know the term. I just know that the way that I've gotten out of that downward spiral a few times is by actively either avoiding looking at other people's art when, like, just there's another term for it, but I can't. But just scrolling through very, very talented artists, it's very easy to do that, and it can be quite enjoyable. But it's a bit like gambling. If you do it for too long, it kind of starts to get to you.
Okay, oh god, I gotta move along. No, there was a interesting mindset actually came up recently from none other than yours truly, Markiplier. Because he talked with Corridor Digital about in-space Markiplier. It doesn't matter, but just a little context. And he had this funny mindset, which on and I agree with, but it's on the other end, the same thing as I said, it's like, it's difficult to fully get rid of that. It's like it will always subconsciously be there. He's basically this idea of like, you can only... paraphrasing and probably paraphrasing incorrectly, but if my memory serves me even slightly correctly, the gist of it was you can only effectively compare yourself or your own art or your own works to your past self, not to anyone else.
Yeah, that's kind of the point that I was trying to get across, where it's like, stop looking at other people's art before you rudely interrupted me. But stop looking at other people's art for the purpose of judging your art against theirs. Look at your art and compare it to your own art. I've got a video about that. It's one of the 2 videos on my YouTube channel that I'm discussing that sort of problem. How I figured a way to solve that for myself.
Yeah, and that is a good one. However, a second I want to touch on, there's problems there as well. There's like charts about that, or philosophies or thoughts about it, but just to put it in simple words, there is always just this, whether it's in a good or bad way, discrepancy between perceived skill, basically, and expectations and all that. It's like there's times where it's like it's the struggle of your expectations will almost always exceed your current skill, or a lot of the time anyway. I struggle with that a lot, where I make something and I'm like, wow, this is really not as good as I was hoping it to be. My expectations were a little higher. Then totally forgetting the fact that, like, again, comparing to your past self, you're like, oh my goodness, I've improved so much.
I mean, if you kind of think about it as in, like, your expectation is never going to be met, then you're kind of only giving in to viewing that you will be a failure, I guess. That you're always going to expect to fail. You're never going to, because if you think that I'm doing this and I'm never going to meet my expectations, you're always gonna have that view that I'm never going to be able to do what I want to do. And that's not necessarily true. It's possible, but you have to understand that it takes time, it takes effort and dedication.
But it's like, kind of the point was, like, you will be, if you keep trying and if you keep building up that skill, you will start beating expectations. But it's the thing where, expectations almost naturally, when you start, expectations start out above where you're actually at, right? And then as you start growing your skill, your expectations grow as well. So there's the problem there, right? Where that just kind of sometimes goes up at the same rate. Not always. Like, sometimes when you push through, take your time. I'm not saying that you never meet expectations. But there's quite a few times it can be that your expectations outpace or stay on pace, but slightly above. What am I saying, man? It's just expectations go above what you can actually do.
Yeah.
A number of times, and sometimes that's something people will struggle with.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that. I'm sometimes like, ugh. Ew. And yeah, that's the thing where I think I've said this before on the podcast as well, where you just, sometimes that's a good time where you just need to take some time to reflect on past pieces, like actively just start looking at like when I'm feeling really like, oh, that was bad, I just open up and just scroll down to my timeline to like 300 days ago, and I'm like, oh, whew, okay, I'm doing okie dokie.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always love doing is going back and looking at my old art.
Yeah.
Because I look at my old art and I go, wow, that is really rubbish. That is complete garbage. Oh, yeah. And I am so much better than that now.
I do this thing. I haven't done it for the 500 to 600 yet, and I need to get to it at some point. But I do this thing where every 100 posts, because I do daily, so every 100 days I reflect on the previous 100 days. Mm-hmm. Do a little, just spend a day making a little, basically pixel art spreadsheet with a little score thing going from -2, -1, 0, +1, and +2. It's very easy. -2 is, oh my god, how did I allow myself to make this? +2 being like, oh, I actually did something very good.
Yeah.
And 0 being I mean, I don't really feel anything about it.
I mean, if I look
just go through the previous 100 posts to see is like kind of how.
I mean, if this video gets 100 likes, now I won't do that. But yeah, at some point I might do a review of some of my old art at some point, maybe on my channel.
I just stream that to friends, but
I'll post it online. I'll review my old art online. I'll give it to the world.
Do it.
Yeah, I will. But I'm actually looking at my finished pieces for 2022. There's not a lot in here because most of my art has been, most of my art efforts has been for this podcast.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of art for this podcast and a lot of sort of focused on.
Let's see. All of my pieces been lately.
I mean, I've got, I think, the biggest one sort of my biggest two that aren't just, animated tests, these two that I did this year.
Right.
I can't remember if I showed you those ones.
Nope.
But in reference to the podcast, let me try and find the podcast sprites. Yeah, it doesn't matter because this isn't making for good audio. But
oh yeah, definitely not.
yeah, you can see some of the other work that I've done for the podcast.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, no, it's just more recent pieces like genuinely have not been the greatest. But whatever. I have that. It was like kind of swing around like in a bit. I have been busier. I have been starting doing more things, so that's kind of a good excuse for me to be doing less good at my pixel art at this point, because uni is still being university. I have a D&D group. I have a podcast I manage.
Busy man.
I'm hanging out more with other people for once. Like I'm
friends. Yo.
Well. Ayo. Like there's all
Where
that.
can I get some of those?
Go to university.
No,
and
I
do
don't.
Group projects.
I refuse. If
Specific. Here's my advice for getting friends. Mm-hmm. Do a course that is a project about statistics. I'm just gonna say it. This is 100% the symptom of statistics. And have that project be the most horrid, mismanaged, and just nightmare of a project. I haven't talked about this. You know what? I'm sorry. Now that we're whining anyway, this is what I'm going to whine about. My statistics project.
My statistics project.
Such a nightmare. Oh no. I have made a project. I've done a project. I've used all the things we were supposed to use. The big thing was copulas. You don't need to know what they are. It doesn't matter. Because you know what the thing is? I've used copulas.
It sounds like copium.
I figured out which one we had to use. We used that one. We computed the data. We did the projections. And we said, electrical vehicles, gonna be a lot of them. Cool. And I still don't know what copulas are.
It's what people have whenever they lose a game.
And I got an 8.5 out of 10 for the project. This is like I was going to say there was bad communication. There wasn't communication. There was no communication, not between the faculty, like the course, and the student, but even within the course, there was no communication. Like, there were a number of times where we informed our supervisor of something that had been done, like, surrounding the course. There were... I won't go into all the issues we had, because then that's an episode in its own, right?
And I don't have enough time either, because I'm going to have to be going soon, so we will have to wrap this episode up soon.
Okay, there was one thing where we were promised we had to make a video at the end of this. A video talking about our project. Okay, cool, sure. Don't like that, but sure. Would have preferred a presentation, whatever. They tell us at the start, in week 2 of 10, they tell us, we'll give you examples of videos, right? In week 1, in the first lecture, we'll give you examples of videos, right? That you can use as reference. Week 8 rolls around. And we're sitting there like, where's our examples? And we ask our supervisor. And it's even better. There is on our little forum that we have for all the information, all the page with all the information, there is a tab for videos. It's empty. It just has a header, and that's it. There's nothing else on that page. So we ask our supervisor, where video? And he tells us, he straight up, I'm trying so hard not to swear right now. He straight up tells us, I don't think we're going to give you examples of videos. It took me so much to not snap at that, like, instant. Like, if you know what build-up there had already been up until that point, the amount of restraint needed to not either bust out laughing, crying, or shouting, or all three at the same time.
Just some sort of emotional release.
Was whole. And I was like, oh, God. Okay, cool. We're not going to example a video. We'll just throw something together. No less than an hour later. Okay. We checked, by the way. We checked that page before the meeting with that supervisor. It was still empty. No less than an hour after that meeting, there are videos, example videos, and instructions for the videos on that page.
Man.
Like, we lose it at that point. And like, oh, he must have asked about it. Finally, some communication. No. We come back the next week. I tell him, by the way, there are example videos. And he says to us, straight up, I cannot believe that he straight up tells us, oh, really good to know that I can tell that to other groups as well. And it's like, these have been on here for a week. How have you, what, you're a supervisor. You're supposed to know these things.
I am going to have to lower the microphone level so much.
I'm sorry. I'm getting so close to the microphone because this is so... I cannot believe that was... Oh, God.
Most truly, struggles as an artist.
Oh, yeah.
University project on... based on... Not art itself, but what was it? Analytics or something?
Statistics
even.
Statistics. And I didn't like statistics. I don't like statistics. So this didn't make it any better.
Alright, so...
I'm just saying. That whole saga is like... We're going to have to do an off-topic episode one time where I just document everything about that project because honestly, that's one of the moments that are just mind-boggling. There are so many more.
Shit.
Anyway,
all
one
right.
more quick. How much time do you still have?
I should have been gone 2 minutes ago.
Cool. Then we can do one more quick topic.
Yeah, I mean, I really should.
Spam. People trying to get stuff from you. Oh my god, it annoys me so much every single time they pretend to be so nice. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I'm glad. So, okay, disregarding anything else about NFTs, I'm glad it's collapsed for the simple fact that I won't get 2 immediate comments on like 30% of my posts that are like, submit this as NFT X or something.
I consider yourself lucky because you're popular enough to get those. I have not had a single NFT recommendation.
Don't need to be popular. Like you don't post often enough. That's your problem.
I don't get that problem, so I don't,
I'm not. It's not. You don't need to be popular. I got these when I had like 10 followers. How many? 8 of which were like friends and family.
How many followers do I have? Let me see. If I've got more than 10 followers and I don't get NFT recommendations, I am going to literally breathe air. Okay, here we go.
You have 15.
My profile picture. 15, and I still don't get NFT things. Ha.
Yeah,
ha.
because you post like twice a year. That's not fair.
That's not true. Tell you what, I'll post right now.
No.
Yes.
Watch you get like an NFT promoted TM like right after that. That would be kind of funny though. No, but not only NFTs, but so many. It's like spam, so much spam. And there's one thing I do not look for. It's like that's one of my favorite things. I can deal with it personally now. I can just say, all right, block, report, it's like report for spam, block accounts, and any other that they make. Yada yada yada. Get rid of the comment. It's gone. Right. Cool.
There you go, I posted.
But I cannot imagine having to deal with such stuff on grander skills. Like, at some point, you can't do that anymore. Like, there's so many of them, you cannot. Mm-hmm. As in, they do, like, those sorts of posts do prey on smaller artists.
Yeah.
They tend to. So, yeah, if you're not, like, if you're a small artist, ignore those comments that are like, promote this on this. Don't do that.
All right. So
Don't do it.
Since I had said that I will be solving your pixel artist problems, I will help you. I will assist you with this problem, and then
Stop posting art.
I will let you roll into an outro.
All right.
Post once every half a year, and you won't get them because clearly that's how it works for me.
Have 15 followers and post once every half year.
Boom.
That's the way to go.
If you want to be a successful artist that doesn't get spammed with make an NFT, or here, give me free art, or I will give you, you're getting exposure. Then don't become popular, and you will be a successful artist. There you go.
Surprisingly, that's the thing that always gets me. I haven't gotten any exposure
Outro.
payment offers yet.
Outro.
Instead, no, just really quickly. Instead, I've had the opposite, where I'm like, I'm not asking money for anything because I'm afraid to ask money for it, and people have come to me as like, let me pay you money for art. I'm like, no, stop.
Outro.
We're gonna have to do a follow up on this. Okay, this is already part of the outro.
Yeah.
Running up on the end here. Time to wrap up. We're going to have to do a follow up on this because we butchered this. I feel horrible. That will be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening if you're still here somehow. I hope you have learned that Monopoly is horrible.
It is not.
And also
Lies.
getting through art can be quite the challenge, which we really didn't talk about all that much. But yeah, we should probably do a second episode where we actually tackle this more structurally, because there's a lot to talk about here, and there's a lot to be said, and advice given, wisdom shared, and all that. Maybe we can talk about this with another artist present so that we can actually pay attention, right? We'll see about that. Speaking of, we do want to look for more artists to talk to. So, if you feel like, hey, I want to have a jolly old conversation with these two lads that cannot pay attention to anything for more than 2 minutes, do DM me on Twitter, or the podcast on Twitter. We have a Twitter account. Or join the Discord, which we have, which we'll drop in the description.
You mean don't DM me? You forgot to mention DMing me?
Yeah, but you're like active on like Twitter like twice a year.
Yeah,
that's gonna take a while before you get to them.
I post things half a year, but I'll check if someone messages me.
All right. Post Sean if you feel like it. No, DM either of us or the podcast directly, or get in the Discord server and message us. There's plenty of ways to contact us. So if you do want to talk to us, be on the podcast for an episode, you know where to reach us. If you enjoyed this episode somehow, remember to like it, share it, or whatever options are available to you on your relevant platform. Same with if you want to stay up to date, subscribing, following. And yeah, that was it. That was me. That was Sean.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.